afternoon session. We are going to take a look at FlexMls Pro, the app that is for agents. Now, a couple of disclaimers here. I'll just bring this up full size. For the app, you need to have already started using FlexMls either as a trial or the front end of choice before you're going to be able to log in. So if you haven't done that and you try to log in, it's going to not let you log in. Things that we'll talk about today with the app itself: where to get the app for your iPhone or Android device, how to log in, because there are some nuances, there's some tricks to logging in. Because you have 3 different front ends of choice, it makes it a little bit more complex than I would like it to be, and certainly more than you would like it to be. So I'll show you that process. And then we'll actually talk about using the app, searching, sharing listings with clients, creating a subscription. Everything I do as far as searches, my contacts, portals, subscription, everything we did this morning, we can do in the app, and that all syncs back and forth across the platforms. There's nothing I need to do to get it to sync from the full website to the app. It does it automatically. We'll also, time permitting, take a look and show you how to edit listings from the app. Since you don't need to necessarily go to the listing manager to do a price change, you can do it from the app. With that, let's talk about where to get the app. Let me bring my phone up on screen. Give me just 1 minute. And in 1 second, we should see my phone pop up. There we go. And come out here. Exit full screen right here. There we go. Now I can bring my phone up over this. There it is. Okay, so with the app, you can go to the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store. Either of those is going to have the app available. I'm just going to tap on my App Store icon and search for FlexMls. And when I do that search, I'm going to just tap on search down at the bottom, type in what I'm looking for up at the top. Let's start typing FlexMls. And ignore the ads. You'll see 2 options. One says FlexMls for real estate pros. The other says for home buyers. You want this first one, FlexMls for real estate pros. It's a white tile with the little blue logo. The home buyer one, remember when we invited in our previous class, we invited Martha to use the portal, and I said it'll tell her she can download the app. That's the app that she would download and log into, that portal app. The one we want is FlexMls for real estate pros. And so I've already got that downloaded here on mine, so I'm going to open it up. We'll talk about how to actually get into the app, because there's, like I said, there's a little bit of a process. So one, as I mentioned, you have to be using FlexMls already as the trial or as your front end of choice. Once you've done that, you can log into the app. So in the app, I would open up my app, just like, let me bring this up on screen. Would open up my app, tap to open that up, and it's going to take me to a login screen. I would type in my login name, the name that you normally log in when you go to my.trianglemls.com. You type in that login name, but it's going to need a prefix, TRI dot. And so when I type that in, when I open my app, it says enter your username. If my username was Z12345, when I log into the app, I'm going to type in TRI dot Z12345. So I need to type in TRI dot. All lowercase. So if you use uppercase letters, it will not work. So use all lowercase. Don't forget that dot. Once I enter that username with the prefix, it'll redirect me to the website. This is because of the front end of choice. And there, it's going to say, enter your username and password. make sure there's no prefix. If the prefix is already there, just delete the prefix. So your normal username, your normal password, and then it'll give you a pop-up. If you want to open the app, just click yes. Then you'll be in the app, and you will be, keep not using my phone quickly enough. Keeps timing out on me. So I will be able to then get this up, take me into the app. When that app comes up on my screen in just one moment, in theory, it is going to start me on the search. So let me try again and just get that up before I switch to the mobile website. When I start inside FlexMLS, I had it set up, you saw it on there. Yeah, welcome to demonstrating live. All right, I'm going to move to my mobile website, even though there's some slight differences here. So I'll try to get my app up again in another few minutes. But let me just toggle a few things here. And I'm going to use my mobile website first, just to show you what this looks like. And the mobile website looks just like my iPhone app or my Android app. The big difference, though, is that on my mobile website, which I have up at the top of the screen, my menu is going to be at the top of my page rather than the bottom of my page. So my menu, as I'm demonstrating right now, starts me on search, but you see the menu here at the very top. And I'm going to zoom in just a little bit so you can see that. So I see a search icon, that's where you start. I see the flame, that's the hot sheet. I see the little person, those are my contacts there where I can drill down, see who's been doing what inside FlexMLS for my listings. Collections, we'll talk a little bit about that. And then I'll come over and I'll even be able to edit my listings from my listings over on that icon on the far right. So let me just see if I can, oh, there we go. I'm going to start with the actual search. There, I got my phone back up finally. All right. No applause yet. You will get some applause though. So from here, on my phone, now you'll see my menus back at the bottom where I told you it will be on the app. And up here, when I start and I'm on the search, there is a quick launch bar up at the top of the screen. And so I can use that. I can type in an MLS number. I can type in a search, so I can do that up to 500K or something like that. 500K in Raleigh. And I can start a search. There's my custom search template we made on the full website. And I can start a search from here. Now, that quick launch does the same things. However, you can't multitask on the app. I don't have 10 different apps on my phone that I can open, so I like to point that out because somebody will always come up and be like, it doesn't let me open a new tab. And that's just because you only have one app, so you can only have one thing open at a time, one screen up at a time. Under that, though, I see new search, address, MLS number search, recent search, favorite searches, and my saved searches. So everything I've done on the full website today, I can see that. Maybe I'll tap on my favorites. There's that primary bedroom main floor favorite search that we made. So I'm going to start to look at the search. The very first example that I want to do is going to be, how do I search nearby? Because when I started training people how to use the app, one of the questions I would always get is usually from a scenario like, I'm showing somebody a property, they're like, great, this is fine. They see something across the street or as we're driving, and they say, what about that one? and they pull out their phone. All of a sudden, I'm scrambling to pull out my phone, and now it's a race to see who can type it faster. So, to search nearby, just tap on New Search, and you'll see I have the little blue dot in the center of that screen. So I can then pinch and zoom wherever I want, wherever we see that, so I don't have to type in an address. I just see here's the listing. I'll tap on that. Android users, the photo will pop up above what I tapped on. iPhone, it'll just pop up at the bottom of the screen. So I see that listing. I can tap to go into the full listing details. We'll spend some time here. Get all of the photos, videos, virtual tours, all of that listing information from here. So that's searching nearby. It's just from the map itself. I'm going to tap back right out here. All I did was tap on New Search. Now, if I'm searching somewhere and I don't see my little blue dot on the map, because I'm searching in another location and you want to jump back to it, it's on iOS, my iPhone, it's right in the lower left. Android, it's in the lower right. But you just tap on that and it's going to bring that blue dot to the center of the screen. Yes?
Is the search nearby default cut across all categories, residential, land?
So that search nearby as the default, it is going to be using, you'll see up at the top of my screen, I'm on my residential search. So it is defaulted at residential right now. If I change to use one of those different templates, the next time I start a search, it would be on that template that I have selected here, my report generation. That's going to be all property types. Excuse me, my fat thumbs are not letting me select here.
Can you do multiples?
Multiples.
Multiple categories.
So right now I'm on the report generation template. That's including all property types.
Okay.
So, and we'll get into actually searching where I can set my property types in just a moment. But I just wanted to show that search nearby feature and how you bring it up. When I go in to actually, I want to go in and I want to start looking for search criteria. Maybe I'm talking to Martha again and she's like, I've got a different idea of where I'm looking, Josh. Here's another search that we're going to do. So again, I'll tap on New Search, and it's really the quick search. So when I tap on this search, I see, we just saw that search template at the top. And on Android, I'm going to go back to residential. On Android, it's over on the left-hand side instead of the center. I like the Android layout, but I'm using iPhone today. Quick show of hands, how many iPhone users and how many Android users? All right, so I'm not going to leave y'all out, even though I've got my iPhone up. I'll make sure to point things out. So I select my search template right at the top, and then on that second row where I have my map displaying, I see an option that says filter. On Android, it's going to be on the left, but I'll just tap on filter. That's my actual quick search template. So it has the same fields for that template that we have on the full website. Now, if I want to do a location, like if I want to do Raleigh or I want to do Wake County, I can just tap in that location bar at the top and start typing in the location or locations that I want to use. I'll just do Raleigh. And then I have my status. Property types, you can't do this on the full website, but here on the app, I can tap and I can include all property types in this search if I would like. So you can change that here. Statuses, easy to change. I just tap on the status line, select the statuses I want to include. I'll just tap on closed, for example. And then I've got my off-market dates I can set beneath that. For Martha, we'll just look at active and coming soon. I'll tap on done. And as I create this search, like I said, it's the same template. So I've got my current price. Let's actually close this. Let's go and use that custom template that we did, because we made a template that already had our main bedroom floor on it. So I'm going to tap on this, and where is, oh, did I already delete that? I get pretty excited sometimes. Let me double check here. Right account. I think I've already removed that. Sorry. I'll start back here then. Fine. Alright. Keep Raleigh, we'll say current price up to $650. Now here I do need to type in all the zeros. On a full website you can type in $650 and it's $650,000. If I type in $650 here, it's literally $650. So I need to make sure on your app, I'm gonna just go ahead and speak for everybody in this room. I'll report that back to our product team that we'd like that changed. I like to just say that you want it because I want it.
You do want it.
I know you do, and I know if I want it, you want it because I have to explain it to you. Property subtype, so I've got all of the same fields that were on my regular search template. The search template I added would be here as well. I'll tap on add a field, and I'm just going to put in our primary bedroom. And primary bedroom level, tap on that, and I'll just tap done. So now I'm going to see, here's primary bedroom level, I'll make my selection. We'll just say, let's do Maine. And I'll tap on done. And I've got my results. I'm going to put in some bedrooms as well. We'll just do 4-bed. See what we get. Tap on done. So as I'm updating my search criteria, you'll see this blue ribbon at the bottom that tells me how many listings currently match. So I can always just tap on that. And now it's going to put those on the map for me. If I pinch and zoom on the map, you're like, what are the little orange dots on the map? So I'm going to just pinch and zoom where my mouse is at. And we'll see, as this reloads, there's a little tent. That means there's an open house. So when I'm looking at this, I see there's an open house on this one. If I want to know when that is, I just tap and go into the details. See open house, when the open house is, right here. So I can go right here. As I'm looking at this and you look and say, well, I don't need to see these on the map. I just kind of want to see the list or get a list that I can scroll through and decide what to look at. My options for changing the view on iPhone, they're at the top of the screen. Android, I believe they're at the bottom. So from here on Android, you just tap on close map, and then you'll see there's an option for this photo view, the gallery view, where I can see the summary information for the listing and a larger photo. iPhone, I can also scroll through the photos from here. To view the listing itself, I would just tap and go into the details. And I also have a list view, that summary view, where I can just kind of get a nice quick summary. And if I want to come in and look at a particular listing, I'll do 499409. Tap here, and now we're in the details. And again, I can swipe through the photos. I can tap on the photo to bring it up full size. On iPhone, this is not available on Android. I wish it was available everywhere. There's this little kind of gallery grid in the upper right. And so now I can just see all of the photos kind of in a scroll screen, and then I can tap on which one I want to go to. So currently only available on iOS. Usually Android gets all the cool updates first. So I'm excited when iPhone gets something. You're like, we don't care. I like it, and now you get really excited when you show that to people. When I'm looking at the listing, I have, well, on Android you'll see videos, virtual tours in line with the photos, just like the full website. iOS, it breaks it out, so if I wanted to go to the videos or look at the documents, I'll tap on documents here. And if you're wondering, what does a document look at like as I bring it up, just I'll tap on floor plans, for example. It just opens up that PDF for me. I can share that PDF with somebody. And I can come back out, I'm just gonna go back to the details. Some other things when I'm looking at the details. You'll see driving directions. That's not the agent driving directions. This is not going to say, okay, go to Chili's, turn left at the second stoplight. This opens up the GPS app that I have on my phone. So this, I'll tap it, open up maps here. So now I can get turn by turn driving directions as I get in my car. I'm glad to be demonstrating this on site, because usually you'll see like a 10-hour drive, because I'm located in DC. Couldn't be too far, but more than I would want to do for a showing. You'll also see under documents, now Android, the layout's a little bit different. Documents, I think, are a little further down the screen, but they're still there. But I see the listing history. I see those third-party apps, like the CRS CMA report, demographics report, showing time, maybe I want to schedule a showing, RPR. So you've got access to all of that in the listing details as well. Maybe you want to reach out to the listing member. If I tap on their name, I am going to see there's their contact number, there's their mobile, I can call, I can text them from here. I won't do that because they'd be like, who are you? And just go back to my details. So if I want to share this listing with somebody as I'm looking at it, I'll come in here and just tap share at the bottom of the screen. And when I tap on share, I'm going to get several options, to share with somebody. Shows me what I'm about to share. Who am I sharing it with? I can select a contact. I'll share this with Megan. Type in a message if you would like. You can email it, that blue ribbon at the bottom. I don't have my demo phone set up here, so I don't have email connected. Text. So if Martha, or Megan rather, has a phone number on her record in my contact management, I can tap on text. And I really like this, there's the more option. So a lot of times as I'm working on my phone, I'm talking to somebody, I might have somebody in my phone contacts, but they're not in FlexMLS yet. So if you tap on more, that just brings up the apps from my phone. So I could go and send this to my favorites here, or messages in this bottom row. Maybe I'm working with somebody who uses WhatsApp, or get a link to send through my Gmail account right here. So I've got those options. I'm just gonna come in here. I used to always text my wife these listings, and she didn't find it funny. I think it's great. I'm like, but she's like, why are you sending me one, listings where we don't live, and two, that we can't afford? But then I would just text this off. You'll see one I sent to myself yesterday. It has the preview when they receive it. So I'll just share that. And question right here.
So I did that, and when I clicked the link, it took me to like the apps. Do they need to have the app as well to view that information?
So if you share and tap on more, and I share this with something like WhatsApp, they need to be on WhatsApp to get a WhatsApp message. But if I just share it by a text message, when they open it up, even if they don't have the FlexMLS app because they don't use the portal, it opens up on the interactive listing. It's optimized for a touchscreen. It's just a mobile web version rather than the app version. So they don't need to have anything special to open up the listing when I share it with them. It'll just open up on a web page. Question right back here.
When you see the other member's contact information, is there a way to save that contact as a contact card to work from?
So currently, no. There's no way to export the member's contact information. Like if I click this, I don't even think, I can copy. So I could copy that. You never used to be able to. I know that was a complaint that used to be there, so they did enable copying. So I could copy and paste, but there's no export here for that contact card. Question right there.
For the document section, you have to click the each individual one to share it. Is there a way to select all and share in one big swoop?
So if I share this listing, the interactive listing is automatically going to include those public documents. So I don't have to select the documents. I was just sharing just the document, not the listing. If I want to share the listing, the documents will be included automatically. Public documents will be included automatically. Question here?
If we have multiple Flex accounts, is there a way to toggle back and forth, or do I have to remember all my numbers?
So, great question. If you use FlexMLS for another MLS that you belong to, and you use the app, when you go to, I'm going to exit out from here. When you go to the more section at the bottom, you'll sign out, sign in again with your other account, and then I'm just going to tap on more. then you'll see it where above logout. Now that you've logged in with 2 different accounts, it'll allow you to switch accounts back and forth just from this page. You don't have to log out and log in every single time. You can just toggle back and forth. I wish the full website worked that well. And I'm going to jump back to my search. I just tapped on search here. And that was just sharing an individual listing. I can save this search for, let's go back to Martha. I can also, before I save the search, I'm going to go back to the map and just point out, as I'm looking at the map itself, I'm going to zoom out a little bit. You can draw on the map in the app, but you're limited to one shape. You can't have 15 different shapes, 30 different shapes like I could on the full website. And to draw, I just tap on Android. It's going to be a little polygon over on the right. iPhone, it's this little, it looks like a stick in the mud. The product team gets really mad at me when I say that, and I'm like, I don't know, they're like, it's a pencil in a shape, and I'm like, nah, stick in the mud. You tap on that, and now I'm just going to trace with my finger. If you have an Android, you don't trace, you tap to set a point, kind of just like first point, second point, and it'll draw that lines in between. iPhone, just trace, so now I've got this shape. Now, I can always get rid of the shape, but if I just want to view the results now as the list or the photo view, you can easily toggle there. If I want to save this search for Martha, up at the top, there are 3 dots that are branching out. On Android, you tap on the 3 dots and it'll actually say share. It spells out the word share. iPhone, I guess, maybe, iPhone users like photos, pictures, symbols. So this little share symbol, tap on that. And just like the full website, if I want to save the search for somebody and share it, it'll just say name the search, and I'm going to call this Martha iOS example. I'll tap save and share. So my search is saved now. Do I want to save it to a contact? I can tap and we'll select Martha in this case since we added her earlier today. And then there's the subscription toggle. Do I want this search, after I save it for Martha, I'm going to share it with her right now, but do I want it to send her updates for new listings? Just a single toggle here. So if I turn it off, it won't send updates. If I turn it on, it's going to send her updates. And with those updates, here there's not a screen that says what's the schedule you want. Instead, it's ASAP. I can't manage the frequency inside the app. I would have to do that from the full website. I can always go back in and edit this subscription later. If Martha says I'm getting too many updates, I can say, let's go back to daily. But I would do that from the full website. The single toggle is just going to be an ASAP update. I can email it. I've got, I'll text it to Martha. Just to show you, if I text and Martha has multiple phone numbers, it says which one are you texting it to. Just going to share that. And we'll send that to Martha. It'll give me an error because it's not a real number. But now, even though I shared the search via text, the updates still come email. So the subscriptions are always going to be an email notification of the new listings, even though I shared that via the text. And from here, maybe I'm looking at a search, maybe I'm looking at a different search, and I might say, well, Megan would like these listings too. I just shared these with Martha. But there's only a few of these that I want to share with Megan. So when I'm looking at the details, I'll tap on this first one. As I'm looking at the details for a listing, I can always just tap that little select icon, a little checkbox up at the top of the screen. It's a green checkbox on my phone. Android, it's a blue checkbox. If I want to go to the next listing in the list, there's a forward, backward arrow, so I can just check it out here. If I want to select that as well. If I want to go back to the full list, I'm going to click that little X. And now we're back. I'm going to go to this little list view. And again, my option to change views are going to be at the bottom on Android, but I'll go to the list. And now you'll notice I've got 2 selected, and my collections has a little red dot on it that says 2. Tells me I've got 2 listings currently selected. here I'm gonna select some more from the list. Go to those 3 flat dots in the upper right. And when I tap on that, I get the option to select. Just gonna tap that. And now I see, oh, that one's selected. Let's select this one. And this one. So I've got 4 listings that are currently selected. And I can tap done here. So if I want to share just those 4 selected listings with Megan, I'm going to come away from my search. I'll go down to my menu. I'll tap where it says collections. I've got 4 selected. I'll just tap on that. And you can save a collection, like here I saved a collection looking for comps for a CMA. It's just saving selected listings, but it tells me right at the top, currently 4 listings selected. Tap on that, you see your selected listings here. And now I see share all, recommend all. I can tap in here, add them to a listing collection so I can save my own collection. Maybe I want to set those up for showings. But if I want to share those with Megan, I'll just tap on share, share all, who am I sharing that with, or just get the app that I have my choice from my phone, pull up my app right here, and share that with myself again. So I just tap to share that with myself. But when you're done working with these, and say, I don't really need to see all of these listings anymore. I want to go there now and do a search for Jim. As I navigate away, I'm going to go back to my search. They're still selected, and I don't want to work with those 4 anymore. So I'm going to go back here to collections, and when I'm looking at those 4 selected, or however many you have selected, up at the top on Android, I think you'll see some dots up here, and you'll be able to tap. I tapped on clear. Android says deselect. So I don't know why they use different words, but clear or deselect, clear the selections. I'll just tap on clear. And now you'll notice I don't have any currently selected. So if I go back into the search we were just at, I could begin selecting a new, or I could begin a brand new search for my contact. Now, I'm going to just tap on back right here. And, oh, my connection broke there. Stop mirroring. There we go. So everything I've done in the app itself will come over into the full website. Here, we just run through some slides. We look through our search results, changing the list, the gallery, the map, our listing collections, saving our subscriptions, portals, contact activity. I don't know why this connection broke again. But let's pull up our mobile version. So I'm just going to go to my mobile website. So if you're using a phone and you're like, well, my phone is really old, Josh, or you're using a phone that is not an Android phone, it's not an iPhone, you're like my dad, you still have that Windows phone out there. And from here, I'm going to go into my contacts. And you can always use the mobile website. So when you're on your mobile device, instead of opening the app, M as in mobile.flexmls.com. And in my contacts, I see everybody I've set up. We just shared a search with, we share that with Martha. Come in here, save searches. I just did this from my app, but you'll see it's here on my mobile website already. Martha's iOS search is here, so I can drill down. As my contacts are in, they're favoriting listings, they're clicking on listings, I always have the contact activity here, just like in Contact Manager inside FlexMLS. So I'm going to tap on Megan, and because I know she has contact activity, I see the past 30 days worth of activity. I see all of those listings that she's clicked on. So everything that we saw in today's earlier class, I see the listings she's been clicking on. If I want to say, do these have more recent clicks? There's a refresh right up at the top as well. Tap on back, coming right here. what's she marking as a favorite if she's in the portal. I can come down and see listing collections. Those will be her saved, hard to see that, zoom in on my screen. Saved listings, recommended listings, hidden listings. So everything that they're doing inside the portal or their subscription aggregates here into that contact activity. I can also drill down like on the saved searches here. There's Megan's most recently unsaved search. She's in the search portal, she's looking for things, I can see what she's looking for. So I have that ability to go in and manage everything that they are looking at. I'm just going to try to bring up my phone one more time now. And there we go. Going back up. It's not giving me any problems yesterday. But the last thing I want to show here before we take a break before our Q&A session, I'm just going to take 2 minutes. And that is going to be how to edit listings. Because you can do status changes, price changes. Since FlexMls is also the back end, I don't have to go into Listing Manager to do that. I can do that from my mobile device. So on my phone, I'm going to just, again, I've got my app open right here. I don't have any listings, so you won't have to do this. I have to change the user I'm using as. So give me one moment. And this is a user, you're going to see some different fields on their listings. He's in St. George, so this is a different MLS, but I just want to show you how to get to the edit listing screen. So in my menu at the bottom, I'm going to see more over on the far right. I tap on that, it'll be a kind of a pop-up on Android, that menu pops up, but I'll see the option for my listings. Tap on my listings, and I'm going to get a list. These are all the current listings that are my active listings in the account that I'm using at. And to make a change on a listing, I'm going to tap on the listing itself. I'm just going to tap on this one. As I'm looking at the listing details, when I'm going through my listings, there's an edit option in the top right corner. So I tap on edit, and you can ignore, they're going to have a few things on here that you won't see. You won't see the super function. It'll start with status. So I'll have my status changes here as well. You're used to, if you've been in the listing manager, you've gone to the status change screen. Same screens here. Price change, media, I can add photos, documents, videos, virtual tours, schedule an open house. To change the status, just like the listing manager, if I want to change it to pending or closed, I would tap on the status that I want to change it to. So close the listing, and I would tap on that, and then fill in the required fields. These are going to be a little bit different than the ones you'll see because this is a different MLS. And then you would click Save. Now I'm going to exit out of there because I don't want to mess up that listing. But I can also come through, same thing, just like the full website, price change. If I tap on that, I will see the current price, enter in the new price, enter in all the zeros, and then click on Save. So that is how you get to the edit listing screen. And again, I'll go through that one more time. It's up over here on the left. But what I did was went to more, that icon in the bottom right of my menu, tap on that, go to my listings, and then from here I would click on the listing where we want to make the change, tap on the listing itself. That's where I'll have edit in the upper right of the listing. That's how I get to the edit listing screen. All right, I'm going to exit out from there. I'm going to stop using this account so I don't accidentally change somebody's listings and then lose my job.
Quick question. One of the things I noticed when I went into my listings is that it shows my active and my pending listings, but it does not show any of my listings that have an AUC status, which is our active under contract.
So, the question is, when I go to my listings, I'm not seeing like my active under contract listings And that's actually controlled by a setting on the full website. There's no setting for it on your app. So I'm just going to jump over to the full website before we break. And in my menu, there is, under preferences, there's a general preferences. Let me zoom in on my screen. I'll tap on general preferences. And when I go to general preferences, there is going to be, I think it's listings. My listings, which statuses should be included. So here is where you'll want to make that change. Here I go, I see active under contract, not included. For those closed listings, I could say include those, but only go back X number of days. So if you change this general preference, I'll click on save. That will filter over to the app. It will take a few minutes for that to sync over to the app. So it won't be instantaneous. You might have to log out and log back in again. I haven't tested it anytime recently. But that setting, my listings, which statuses to include, that's where you'll see that. It's under your general preferences. Now from here, let's go ahead and take a short 5-minute break here, come back in 5 minutes, and then we'll have the open Q&A session. I know I've had a ton of questions, so we're going to have some more. So, if I want to see you're not going to see that on your survey. It's not really all the second time it says login and password, move the TRI move the previous. Yes, by default, you can change that. By default, so this is where you will type in RI doc. So I can do that, but just realize the results is very good. So I have it in short range. Really very sensitive to it. Activity is going to pull that in, but that activity the more people. Sally's phone. Okay, I'm gonna run all the way back. This is, you have to, this is just that's not gonna be affected on that. I'm going to assume that you're going to see that every time. Because again, it's complicated. Because otherwise I just tell people you can go to settings and say use facial recognition. I don't know that it's going to work with that second line.
I think ultimately it'll be better. Except I can't get to the website. It's so frustrating. How do you like it?
I don't know. I'm not going to answer questions right now. We're about to start our next session.
Sure. Me too. Me too. Very frustrated right now. I'm trying to log in and I think I'm messing up passwords. This is so frustrating. We'll catch up, yeah. I mean, it is so everything is password sensitive, and every password is different. I just have a hard time. Which one are you looking for here? Just TRI. Let me see, that's what I was having trouble with, I can maybe help. TRI dot, do you have an R in front of your account? Yeah. Okay, hit the next again. Thank you very much. Just now, just this second. Here, let me help you out. I don't know. Are you ready? Did the TRI. TRI, lowercase TRI dot, right there. To start it, you have to do TRI. Are you in FlexMls?
Well, it's gonna take me a minute to. Yeah, it's gonna take us a minute to figure it out because
That is the
it doesn't look like it's
TRI dot.
it's more of a, you know, yeah. But I did say, well, I
So it will be branded to you, especially if they're using the portal, but it's not as prominent in the branding, because I know that's one of the things that our product team is looking at, increasing the branding prominence in there. So it is, but it's really not nearly as prominent, like I've seen most of the time. So with that, you can actually just fill it in.
Get it? Oh, that's what was happening with me. Okay.
So do you want to go more portal?
That's what was happening with me. It turned out I wasn't, I don't know how that worked.
There's also
When you send folks up to these kind of email or through the portal, can you read out what was status change, price change?
so the default is going to be staff
I did.
Can you change it?
It's been a while.
right, so that's what it is, that's how it is.
I have no idea what that is.
So it's
So I'm just trying to
This is what I'm going to do. I can send it to you and say, okay, one's a price change.
That's what I have. We
So I can send it to Gail, any price change, and get separate email. This is the price change, this is the.
Oh, yeah. I had a wonderful memory of our Stanbury night. We need to go again. But that particular night, let me tell you what happened. They were at
take our seats. And I see there was a question right back here. Yeah.
They don't get the MLS documents, right?
Correct. Only the documents that are marked as public. So when you go in and add a listing in the listing manager, that document privacy level can be set to public or private. So only the public documents, when I share through the app, only public documents go through the app.
I'm not, if I just share some here, like in a text, some not a contact, share it
Right?
to their text. Documents aren't even, I know you're saying that if they were public, but I've tried several houses, and documents isn't coming up.
I would have to take a look at that because I did it yesterday and demonstrated very clearly if there's a public document on the listing and I share it via text, the recipient is going to see that when they look at the listing.
So it worked for us because we had just looked at our own listing and we put the documents as public. And it seems like the TMLS default when you enter the listing is private. And they're not changing it when they do that to make it public in order for it to be shared. So whoever's entering the listing has to change that to public, but it's default as private currently.
Question right back here. Yeah.
There's no like, we're all kind of, this is like the new platform is all new kind of, wording and stuff that we're used to, right? So when people put stuff in, there's no like cheat sheet saying, well, this will allow you to send stuff to, you know, your clients.
So,
when it's like, you're like, I don't know, it comes up private automatically, maybe that's because it can't be.
okay, so the question is, are there any cheat sheets to what these words mean inside FlexMLS? Now, I don't know what words you do and do not know. As Triangle MLS is getting this set up, they also don't necessarily know what's going to cause a stumbling block. However, they can put in help text on things. For example, let's take a look at adding documents to the listing, and I'm just going to make a suggestion. I'm going to write it down for myself. I'll have Becky, who does all of our guided help walkthrough, I'll have her add in this help text. Oh, there we go, but there's my pen. For private and public, if it doesn't exist already. I'm not positive that that's accurate, but we'll look.
Question me.
So, well, I will tell you, as I stated earlier today, I go do on-site training probably once a month for a brand new MLS every month. So I can't keep all the different MLS rules always straight in my head, so I just have to go in and look. So let's take a quick look at adding a document on a listing. So I don't need to go through the listing manager because FlexMLS is the listing manager. I'll go, whoops, I don't have any listings. What am I doing? I'll go to incomplete. So I've got these listings that I've been working with, and we'll go to the document screen. I just want to see if there is help available. If not, I'm going to have Becky add some for you. So I'll click on Documents. And when I go in to add my document, I'll just click Add Document at the top of the screen. And let's see here, what do we have? Upload document. And I want to hover over that. That tells me the file size. All right, this one does not. So I'm going to have Becky put in some help text for you right at the bottom to define whether the document is public, private, and what these mean. I'm going to put in some help text for you. Look for that probably next Monday because it's Friday.
If you select a document.
So let me show you. If I select a document from the list, coming soon document, for example, you'll see it sets that permission for me. And the reason why is because nobody should see that coming soon document except for me, my broker, and the MLS staff here. And has edit, that means has edit permission only. So another agent can't see it unless they can edit my document, so I can see it. My broker can see it. MLS staff can see it, but nobody else can. if I select another document from the list, now that's set as private. I'm gonna make some suggestions. I don't know the reasoning behind that. There may be something that I'm not aware of. But what I would say is, well, I want to put in a floor plan or an aerial view. I want to make sure it's public.
Right.
I'm not going to use that list. I'm going to come right here and I am going to say, let's add our floor plan. And now I can select my own privacy level, make sure it's public, choose my file. I don't have a floor plan to add, but we'll grab something from my computer. Let's put that in. And, oh, I'm gonna add something different. So I'm gonna forget. Let's do this getting started file. I'm like, that's a conversion call with a different MLS. You don't need those notes when we look at those. So I'm gonna do this. We'll say that that file was actually a floor plan. Click public, click save, and now that's going to be publicly available. As I'm looking at it here, I will see that it says the status of public. So I'm just gonna make a note for myself. I'll have Becky go in and add some help for defining what public means, what private means, what has edit means. I'm gonna just make this note so I don't forget. Make my note. Start so I don't forget. Okay. So I will make sure that there is some definition, some additional help available on this page, just so you know. But I just wanted to kind of clarify that. And I've got a question right here in the back.
Well, I was told, oh, sorry.
Sure, go ahead.
I was told by, because I contacted the MLS help regarding that public and private, and they said that if it defaulted to private, it meant that the MLS had, I want to get this right, that they wanted to have control, or the MLS had control of whether the document went out, so that they had more discrepancy of the change of it, that if it got out public and let's say somebody edited that document, that the MLS had control of the documents that were out in the public. So there was no misrepresentation of that document out in the public. So that if we had control of that document, our MLS, then they controlled the document that was out, the most recent copy that was out there. So that no one could come out and say, edit a property disclosure or anything out that. So that's why the certain documents that were private stayed private, so that they controlled the document that was out. That's what they told me, so that if it was private, that was to protect you, the listing agent, and that it was to protect them, so that no one could come out and say that they came in and say, this is the property disclosure, or this is the whatever document I had floating out here. It's because I had this document, and it's the document that it was out there. And so if it's defaulting to private, it's their recommendation that and that's why that yellow disclaimer comes up, that you're doing it at your own risk, that you're making it out there, and that's why that disclaimer comes up if you make it. And they showed that little, what you just did, going to a different tag and saying, well, make it floor plan and make it public, but you're doing that at your own risk. But that's why they have that there, showing that the MLS is making their kind of extra filter, saying, well, we're doing this to keep that document, to keep that data.
Sure. So the MLS has set those document levels with what they feel are best. Again, that's not going to be something that I can personally change. However, I just wanted to show you how you can make that available publicly.
I'm just telling you what they told me.
Sure.
I guess as each agent or whatever they feel they need one out there.
And Sam's gonna come in a minute and kind of explain that.
Okay.
We can move on to another one, then we'll come back.
Sure. I'm gonna come right over here. Yes.
So, and others may be having the same problem I'm having. I go to the very beginning where I have all my tiles. I hit flex, it says begin trial. I hit begin trial, then I get, the begin trial, learn more about MLS choice. I hit begin trial and it loops right back to the same thing.
So I'm not gonna be able to help with that. That's a support question.
Okay.
So unfortunately, because I can't even get into that screen to look and troubleshoot that. The question right back here.
Yes, if I want to assume the identity of another realtor, their permission to change the.
So the question is, maybe an office admin or somebody needs to assume the identity of somebody else in the office, another agent or realtor in the office. How do you set that up? You have to reach out. I would start by reaching out, go to help, go to contact support, let them know, because that has to be set up at the Triangle MLS level, the MLS admin level. They'll give you that permission. You can't just grant that to another agent. It has to be set up by the MLS itself. So just start by reaching out to assume the identity of somebody else. The MLS will just set that up for you, but you just have to let them know if it's not there. You should have that permission. Question right here.
Unless I missed it in the app, there isn't like a little mortgage calculator.
So in the app, there is no mortgage calculator. When you are on a quick search on the detail page, there is a mortgage calculator. So up on my detail, I'm just gonna pull up a random listing. There's a lot right here under detail where I have the listing, history, showing time. There's the mortgage calculator. That's going to be right here. So I've got that available. That is not currently available in the app. I know they're talking about adding that in, but I don't know any timelines or anything like that. Now, I know there was a question right back in the corner. Did you have a question as well earlier?
When we were looking at setting up the documents, and we were getting the indicator of public, private, or an edit, right? We were
Yes.
talking about that. That's not a radio button, it's just indicating what the assignment is of the drop-down selections of different types of documents, right? And it shows you for each one, it jumps to what has been.
Right, it jumps to the MLS
Right,
recommendation
it's not
for
a
that
radio
drop
button,
down list.
you can select. So you were showing then, the workaround is create a specific name for it, so that.
Correct, and I think we'll revisit the documents in a few moments, but yes. All right, question right here.
So, and I don't know if there's a way to change this, but just to note that for remarks, we can now write so much more, and there's this teeny tiny little box with like 3 or 4 words across. It's really annoying. Like, it's nice to be able to type and see like a sentence of, do you follow what I'm saying?
Oh, I follow what you're saying. So the question, the remark here is when I'm on my ad listing screen, and unfortunately I can't personally make this box bigger for you, otherwise I'd do it in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
If this was one of those things that I could do. So when I come down to my, for example, public remark box, I've got this space fairly limited as far as what I can see as I'm typing something in, but you do have up to 4,000 characters. So it would be nice if this box was actually a little bit bigger.
Double the size.
So I will say that the ad listing screens are currently being reworked. You're gonna see it look very different when you get ad change on the app. So that may change in the future. Like I said, I wish I could change that for you, but unfortunately there's no setting.
I was wondering if there's a way.
Yeah, I wish there was, otherwise I would do that. Did we want to go in and talk a little bit about documents here? Did we want to talk more about documents, the privacy levels?
So, documents by default are all set to private. So for each document, you need to set what permission you want, whether you want it to be public, for MLS, your eyes only, or private, which means it's only available in MLS systems.
Okay, so I'm gonna circle back to that at the MLS level later. I'm just gonna reach out next week after.
So what you're saying is that if you make it public, is that it's gonna go to the the aggregators of the world, Zillows and Realtor and all that stuff?
This means you want it to be seen by anyone who has internet access.
Ah.
And it is just you and MLS.
Correct.
Private is all agents.
In the
MLS.
Private is all agents in the MLS. Public is on
Everybody
Realtor.com.
in the world.
It's on the app, so I can look at it on the app, and I can share it on the app.
Absolutely.
So you're also feeding into all the Zillows and the Realtors.com.
If it's private and you are an agent trying to share it with your client, there is an option to be able to share those kind of documents.
Yes.
But a warning does pop up saying, hey, or make sure you're supposed to be sharing these private documents outside of the MLS.
And we're allowed to do that, obviously, because we're, you know, is that option in the app?
So that option will not be in the app. What was just discussed was when I email from the full website and I say I want to email the documents, there will be an option, I'll bring this up on my screen, an option that says just the public documents or public and private. So as I look at the documents for a listing, I'm just going to grab this one. These are all public, private. So I see it's got some public, some private. When I email the listing, I'm going to go to my email function at the top. I'll send my interactive version. And then here I'm going to say just that listing. Public version, so they only see the public listing data, but documents. If I want this recipient to receive just the public, I check just those documents marked public. But if they should be receiving the private one as well, I check both private and public. I get a little warning saying, are you sure you want to include those private documents? But now, when I email that out to somebody, I'll just send that to Beth. When Beth gets that, she opens it up. The documents that she sees will be the public and the private ones. I'll just email that out to Beth. Now, that option is not available within the mobile app. The mobile app will only send the public documents. You don't have that toggle in the app to decide which ones you include. Question right here.
Can you add documents from the app?
Can I add documents from the app? So let me see. Just want to see if I can bring up an example. The answer, short answer is yes. But let me look to see if I can pull it up.
Like if I scan one from like Genius Scan or something, right there, if I scans in, could I?
So give me 1 second here. I just want to verify because I think it might be slightly different, and I have been teaching on our beta, which gives me full edit access. So I'm just going to take a quick look. Give me 1 second so I can answer this question accurately. So, the answer is yes. Let me see if I can bring up my screen. Can I do a scan on my phone, add that document to my listing is the question. And I'm going to show you, the answer is going to be yes, you can. Hopefully I can get my phone back up on screen. All right, so I've got my phone on screen. I'm going to exit out right here. Again, I'll go to my edit listings screen. So I went to my listings, tapped on more, and I'm going to come back here, go to my listings. On the edit listings screen for my listing, I'm just going to tap on this second one. When I go into edit, I'm going to scroll down as soon as my screen pops up, and here I'm going to see that document. So there, I'll tap, it'll open up documents on my phone. I'll be able to attach that from my phone itself. So the question, can I add the documents to the listing from my phone? The answer is yes. I need to change, like, don't keep using that account because I'm going to mess somebody's account up really bad. All right, we'll get into the next question in 1 moment. And, okay, question right here.
And this may be more of a
Triangle MLS question, but we used to be able in Paragon under documents, like if I wanted to email all the documents at one time into a .loop folder, I could. Now we have to open each one, save it on our computer, go to .loop folder, browse it through Flex. If I have that .loop email address, can I shoot all the documents?
So I don't know, I don't think you've got a .loop integration here, let me just double check.
That is a known issue that the MLS is, we've had that reported to us and we're working on it.
Okay, so it is something that they're trying to address. I will also say you don't have to download the documents one at a time to do that right now. Right here, I see all of these documents. I can select the ones I want to download. Click View, Print, Check Documents.
It creates just
But it
one
wasn't
file.
like.
It's going to be a single file then if you do that.
But they changed it though, because of what.
I mean, it would be nice if it would create separate files with the things on
Sure.
there.
Now again, that's going to be a known issue that they're currently working on for that .loop functionality that you had previously. Question right back here. Yes, you. Sorry, I don't know your name.
Sorry. This question is for the next phase of training. So once we master all of this, is there one of these self-guided tours that will show us all the features? Like in an hour-long movie or something?
Like all of the features. So, y'all can't get enough of my voice. Most people just, I tell them, turn on my training video, go to bed, it'll put you to sleep. But, so I know we've been doing two live webinars per month as well as the recorded versions of those. So as more people start to use it, there have been just basic classes. I know already talking to Lynn that they're talking about putting together some more advanced classes, like, you know, the basics of searching, but let's take a look at how to do some more advanced things or some features that we haven't addressed yet. So I do know they've got that in the works. I don't have the dates and topics set out yet. I'm sure I've had a really tremendous response here, so they're probably going to ask me back sooner or later. I don't mean to brag, but we did say earlier, I think everybody agreed, I was the Taylor Swift of Flexmls. Yeah.
Can we go back to that whole hour-long movie thing? Can you guys like suggest like it be like a Marvel kind of?
we can have
MLS.
Yeah, sure. There'll be like a big culmination movie where all of the different features come in at once. So we'll make it a blockbuster extravaganza. Right here, yes, sir.
You said when you set up the portal, it can have an app that is directed to you, right, or to the agent.
Yes.
Is there a way to do that or to share that with someone that you don't have a portal set with? So if I wanted to say, hey, here, sign up for my home search app.
So the question is, I can invite somebody to use the portal. It's branded to me, but I'm inviting them to use it. Is there a way where I could just say, anybody out there who lands on this page, they look at something? The answer is, there is FlexMLS IDX that you can use that has mobile solutions. The FlexMLS IDX, which again, I'm not here to promote FlexMLS IDX, I'm not trying to sell you anything. It would be an additional cost. You have your widgets, but what happens there is like you have all the lead generation. Somebody lands on your website, you can say, let them do 3 searches and then make them sign up. They would then feed directly into your contact management. But the searches that they're doing as they sign up, it's in your portal. So really, if you want kind of a branded website where anybody could sign up, people could generate leads from it, it would be from using the FlexMLS IDX product.
And how much is that?
That I do not have. I can give you what it was 10 years ago, the last time I trained on it, but that's probably out of date.
Yeah.
So what I would suggest is here in my menu, I'm going to click on, if you click on Search IDX, or it's down in the IDX Manager under this. In order to find out more about the IDX product, they will happily schedule a demo. Look at that, already pops up. They're good at generating leads.
That's what he wants.
Exactly. And that's exactly what your IDX site can do for you. So I would just come here, reach out, contact us to our IDX team, and they can give you all of the prices, all of the solutions, because I'm sure they have different packages that are available that they have. Now I'm going to get to this right back here, but I saw a question over here. Yes. So, what type of report are you specifically thinking of?
Well, I use in Paragon now, on the end of the report, and, summary.
Oh, yeah.
Quick spreadsheet.
Like a quick spreadsheet.
Found out.
So, all right, this is one of my favorites. This is what I showed you a few days ago. I could talk about these pages for hours and hours until I lose my voice. This is day number 4, so I'm surprised it's held out pretty good. I'm a really loud talker. I apologize for this. So, the question is, like that one-line CMA, just a summary of listings, or maybe I'm looking at listings and I want to say, I've got this group of 30 listings. How many sold within 30 days? How many sold within 60 days? How many sold within 90 days? I can come in here. I'm just going to do a quick subdivision search. And what subdivision did I write down this morning? Boom, boom, boom. Where did it go? Oh, yeah. Hasten Tree? Hasten. All right. Hasten Tree. So I'm going to pull this up, and I'm going to say, let's look at active. Let's pull in any pending, and let's pull in any closed listings here as well. I could always set my dates at the bottom. I'm just going back 1 year from today for this example. I've got 94 listings. So I've got a few different ways that I can just pull up quick statistics for this. First one I'll show you in my results row. Just have to go a little bit further than we went into this morning. Go to the far right. Stats. So on the stats tab, it's going to take everything that's in my current search results, display that over on the left. But over on the right, let me just zoom up on my screen a little bit. I'm going to see, all right, we've got 11 active. Let me pull this over. I've got 11 active, 11 pending, 72 closed. Now I can always do single family bedrooms, whatever I wanted in my search to really drill down. But I'm also going to see the average, median, low, and high. Prices, original list price, current list price, sold price, sale to list price ratio. So I've got my quick stats here, days on market stats as well. If I keep scrolling down, I also have this days on market information. So 48 of these sold listings sold within 30 days, 31 to 60 days, 9 of those. So I've got that sales information. And I can see those that are selling in 30 days are selling at 99.4. That is not too bad. To that sale to list price ratio. Sale to original list price, over 100%. So I've got that information here, which I can always then click to print and either save it as a PDF, email that to somebody. So that's my quick search statistics. The kind of addition to that was clarified, like the one-line CMA, just like a quick CMA where I see it in a spreadsheet view. So I can see all of these closed listings, see what the average list price is. I'm going to drill down just a little bit. I'm going to make sure I'm getting only single family in here, just in case. Okay, good. All right. So I want to take a look at Hazen Tree and just pull up that one-line CMA. So as I'm doing these, it doesn't matter where I'm at in the search result row. To look at the CMA, the one-line CMA, it's going to be in my actions. So I see CMA up at the top of the screen. It says CMA. I could use all the results. I could select and get specific listings I want to use for a comp and start a full CMA with the subject and everything, but I just want the one line. And that is this bottom half, one-line CMA. I can download it as a PDF. I always say download it landscape form because it prints better. But just to look at that, let's click one-line CMA. And that is going to take all of those listings that we had out there and gives me all the listings, gives me the stats for those listings so I can see specifically beds, bathrooms, living area, original list price, days on market. Breaks it down, active, pending, closed, whatever status it is I've selected. At the bottom of any of those sections, it is going to include the average, minimum, max, median calculations for those so I can see list price, sold price, everything here. And then of course the very bottom of the page It's just going to say all the listings total, and then the averages for all the listings at the bottom. So that's the one-line CMA.
Quick question, so, in Paragon, we could change or choose which column we wanted in our one lines, so we could customize our one line
So-
CMA summary, can we do that here?
The question is, can I customize these columns of information that are displayed? The one-line CMA is hard-coded in. Triangle MLS can request changes to it, they can make changes to it, but you as an individual cannot. However, when I'm looking at search results, and I've got my list out here, I can set up a view with the columns of information that I like. As I'm looking at the list, and you can change that to a one-line view. And when you print, so if I create my own view, I'm not going to do that, there's a little tutorial right here. But if I create my own view with list date, sold date, days on market, original list price, sold price, I can get that set up the way I want. And when I print, I can tap on print, and I can say, let's just print that list page. So I can go in and just print, I don't have to print the detailed reports or anything. I can just print that list, and I'm just going to give you a preview. You can also, I've got that set up for the full rather than the one line. I would create my own one line view. So I can preview what I'm about to send right here. So I've got the columns of information in the order that I want. You can print this from the print page. You also have the ability to email from the print page as well. So you could print one of those reports on the page that I'm looking at. I could just email that from the print page here as well. So you do have that ability. You can't customize the one-line CMA, but you can customize and share those views with somebody.
And can you save something like that as a template so you can do the same thing again with different data sets?
So the question is, I want to just, maybe I get this the way I want it, with the columns of information the way I want. Can I save that? So anytime I'm looking or sharing search results, I can share that with somebody. So I'm going to go into that. It's a little more than I usually go into in a basics class, but y'all have been here for hours, you're experts. So on the list, easiest way to get here is I see there's the one line, there's the kind of expanded one, and I see I'm using a residential custom template that we created, but there's a view. I've got these residential view, land view, so depending on my search template, there's kind of a default view. You can create your own template to have it anytime you're doing search results. So if I click on view, it's saying, okay, you're using and modifying the one that we currently have. I'm going to call this, I've already got one that I did the other day. We'll call it 00, custom, view, residential. And I have 3 tabs, general, fields, and assorted. General, I just name the view. I can say this report description, that's if I print it, that prints at the top of the page. So you can set something there, leave it blank, it's fine. The important thing here is though I go to my fields tab. So where my mouse is hovering, I'll click on fields. And on the right, these are the ones on the current view that I see. And I might look at this and say, well, this is something that I want to share with people. I don't want the listing member, listing office, selling member, selling office. But I'm going to put in some other fields. So over on the left, these are all the fields that I can put on my view. So I'd select the property type because different property types have different fields. Then I've got a search bar. So I wanted I'm just going to type in the word date. So I'm going to say closing date. So for my sold listings, what do we have here? Listing contract date. I'm going to put in price. Maybe we'll do the original list price, our sold price, the closed price, sold price per square foot, let's do list price per square foot, whatever fields you may want to put on here. And over on the right, those get added to the bottom. That would mean that they're at the far right. So to change that, You just drag and drop, put those in whatever order that you want. I'm just gonna put this list price per square foot right up here. So you would take the time, get the columns of information that you want, the order that you want them. You can also go to that last tab, which is the sort. And you could say, I want these to sort by what? I'm going to say, let's sort by, I'll click custom sort, we'll add a brand new sort. So I'm going to just say, let's sort by, let's do city. So I'm going to start with city, and then I'm going to say, let's also sort by current price. So current price means if it's on market, it would be the current list price. But if it's off market, then it would be showing me the sold price. So I'm going to say this. I can then say on this sort, you can add as many levels to the sort as you would like, but I can say ascending or descending for either of those. So maybe I want city, then descending by price within the city. So I've set my fields, I've set the sort. I go up to my action right at the top right of the screen and click on save. And, oh, I gotta give it a name. We'll call it city current price sort.
You can't preview this before you see
So, now it's easy to change because I can always come back here and just go in and change this. But now it's going to be right out here where I see that. I'm going to go in, I'm going to do one other thing right there with that current view. And I want to make sure, I'm going to say show the photo on general. I'm going to say no, so it's defaults to that spreadsheet view rather than having the photo show. Now I'm going to resave that. So now whenever I use this, it'll default to just showing this spreadsheet view right here. There's our subtype I added, list price per square foot right after that, so you can see that in my, and it's sorting, well these are all in the same city, so it's just sorting by price right now. Now how this will work when you say, can I set this as the default so whenever I look at search results, that I don't have to take an extra click? So what will actually happen, this won't happen for me because I'm not logged in directly, but what will happen for you is when I just do a search, maybe I use my residential custom search template, whatever search template I select, all I have to do is do this once. I go to the list, and then I say, let's use that custom residential view that we just created. Now that view sticks to that search template. So unless I ever change it to that search template, now it's just for that search template. So if I do land, I would have to manually change it. But once I change a view, it sticks with that search template. So I don't have to go in and manually set something as the default. Now whenever I do this, it's going to be using that view. I can go up now and print and then email that view out to somebody by just emailing the list page to them. So does that answer?
Yeah.
All right.
It's just a lot more clicks.
It's a lot of clicks.
Question here.
If you do all this pre-work in Triangle MLS and you're using another Flex system somewhere else, even though locally you can switch back and forth, on the desktop it will just populate.
So the question is, if I use Flexmls as my front end for Triangle MLS, but I also belong to another MLS that uses Flexmls, maybe North Carolina Regional or something like that, does the work I do in one place carry over into that other MLS that uses Flexmls? The answer is no. You have separate accounts in each of those MLSs, so there's no way to just take everything I've done here and import it over there, because each MLS, you'd have to have that login, and then unfortunately you would have to set that up in that MLS as well. So it doesn't just automatically carry back and forth, even though they both use Flexmls. They're very separate databases, so they have to be done separately. Question here?
Just quick on this view right here, how many columns do you get?
So
12?
I will tell you that I don't know what the practical limit is. I'm sure there is one, but I don't know off the top of my head what that is. I have not hit it, but then again, I've never seen more than like probably 20 columns of information out here. So I'm sure it will throw an error if you try to add 50 columns of information. But I don't know what that limit is, but it is, you can have a good number of columns. Now I see there's a question right back here as well.
Yes, sir, and this has been very informative and helpful, I appreciate it, thank you very much. But it has been a lot, but you said earlier that this was recorded, can you tell me where I could watch this recording again so I can?
All right, the question is, Josh, you've given us a fire hose and we're trying to take a cup and just get a drink of water. So this was recorded, and I'll let Lynn here, she'll tell you how that they're gonna handle sharing that.
So the Raleigh Regional Association is recording, and I understand I'm gonna make it available on YouTube. Yeah.
So it will be, I'm going to assume then, oh, I'm gonna make everybody on my team go watch this. I've been telling them, I'm on fire all week.
Yeah.
So if you go to YouTube and search Triangle MLS, you can go to that YouTube channel. Great videos here. Oh, I missed that one. And so I'm always really slow with my blessings on sneezes, so it doesn't surprise me. But the Triangle MLS YouTube channel, if you just go to YouTube, if you've never been there, search Triangle MLS, it'll be one of the first things that pops up. Just go to the channel, and I'm sure they'll promote it, but that's where you're going to see it once they have it processed and hosted up there for you. One question here, yes.
So, do you have, so in Paragon we used to have something called listing card, where you could take, let's say I had showing, somebody wanted to see 7 homes, I could take 7 homes, put them in the card, and then upload it to, showing time into their.
Sure, so the question is, can I create like a cart of specific listings that I want to do something, like upload those to showing time or something like that? So in FlexMLS, the cart is going to be known as the collection, a listing collection. So what that looks like, I'm just going to go to our search results screen where we were at, and I'm just going to grab a few listings. So no real reason in particular, I'll just grab 3 listings. So if I want to save 3 specific listings, when I click on save, I'm not saving the search, it's going to be the option that says save just those selected listings. And I'm going to say, save it to my listing collections, and I'll call this showings for Saturday, whatever it is. And then I'll click on save. Now, I've got a collection out there. The next question is, where do I get to my listing collections? So under menu, if I come down here under the search, I'm going to see listing collections. I'll put a star on it and just pin it up onto my favorites. So I've got my listing collections out here. And now I see, here's my showings for Saturday. I can work with those. I can go to showing time. I can say, let's select all of these. Let's go over, it won't let me get into showing time because I'm not a member of the MLS, but then I would go to showing time right here. And normally, you'd already be single sign-on into showing time. It's going to be like, Josh, you don't actually belong here, so it tries to make me log in. From here, you can curate the collection as well. So anytime I'm on any search results page and I see something that I want to add to that, or if I want to remove something from there, I'm just going to go into maybe grab a new listing. To add something to that listing collection, I'll just select the listing and then I'll save collection name. I can search for the collection. I've only got 2 here, so it's easy for me to go showings for Saturday. Add it to the collection or replace. I'm just adding it to, so I've got that new listing. So you can add listings to the collection that way as well. With the listing collection, which is like a listing cart, few notes. 1, it's going to last indefinitely, but the information that you see whenever you go there will always be up-to-date information. So if something has changed status, price, you'll always see the current version of the listing. And since you're using FlexMLS, you'll always see that current information immediately when it's changed. There's no delay. The listing collections will last indefinitely unless you remove them. So if in a lot of my training accounts, I've got listing collections that are 10 years old with all these expired and sold listings in them. But just to verify that unless you get rid of that collection, it'll stay there with those listings in it.
take individual listings out of the collection?
So, can I go in and remove something from that collection? The answer is yes.
Okay.
When I go into that collection, I'll just click on it, and we'll go into that. Maybe I want to take one of those listings out.
Yeah, that's.
Right here, I just select the one that I want to get rid of, click on remove,
Cool.
and we're all good. I can also share that and put that listing collection in a client portal. So it says you want to share this with your client. Then when they log in, they'd see a new listing folder, that listing collection in their folder with whatever I put in there for them as well. Question right here.
Can you add manually from another MLS to your showing cart here? Because where we are, we're on the cusp of two, well, a lot actually of other MLS.
Sure. So, because I don't deal with showing time exclusively, I don't know exactly how showing time works. I'm going to say I don't know, but if I were to direct you to try, what I would do here, if you're trying to use showing time for another MLS.
Well, and on the same day, you would do all of them.
Right. So again, I don't know how your showing time integrates with the other MLS, if both accounts share that same showing time account. Lynn's giving me, she would have to ask on that as well, because I don't have the answer, unfortunately, because
my assumption would be no, because those listings are not on the database, and that you would have to handle it separate.
So the reason I asked the question is, I did do it, but I can't remember whether I moved it from TLMS showings to North Carolina, MLS showing. I can't remember which way I did it, but you can do it, and that way it'll, plan your visit for you for the whole day. Because we may have to do the smart route, because because in Triangle we have listings like in Nash County and Edgecombe and vice versa. So to plan your day, it's insane if you can't. So I can't remember which way I did it, so I wonder if it was possible through Flexmls.
So again, I don't know, because I don't know what showing time uses to managing an account. I know from FlexMLS they're probably using the tech ID, but I don't know if they integrate there.
Because we don't have an active data share in NC Regional, that would be why we can't pull up their listings in our showing time, or why they can't pull up ours in theirs.
Well, I think, honestly, I think I entered the address manually, and it worked. I was able to enter, I didn't pull anything, I just took the address that I was looking at, internet, and it did smart route it for me.
Were you entering it in showing time?
That's what I can't remember what I.
It doesn't happen in, the MLS systems, but I can see that
For showing time.
Yeah, and again, I wish I had more information, but since I don't work with showing time. Now I do feel it's like closing time. Everybody's leaving right now. I'm going to take one more question right back here.
The question is, when you're in the create view section with the three tabs, general, field, and sort, when I hit my sort tab, I'm not getting anything dropping down.
So, when I was in my view and I went to that sort tab, I would say the easiest thing here is probably going, let me grab the list view. You can always do that walkthrough for it. But since you're not seeing a drop down on sort, come right over where my mouse is hovering, click on custom sort, and now I can use any of my current, or just now you should have this create a new sort.
Yes.
And now when you click that, now you should have those fields available.
Thank you.
All right, y'all have been very, very wonderful, very generous to me, very kind. So I want to thank everybody who stayed and closed down with us today. And I hope you have a great rest of the weekend coming up now. Oh, exciting. All right, y'all have a good day. Thank you.